afternoon, everybody. Welcome aboard the Cavern Princess. My name is Donna. For your safety, I have 2 portable throw rings, one on each side of the helm. In case someone falls overboard, we can toss them a ring and get them back on board safely. I also have 2 fire extinguishers along the railings towards the back. And up above us in that little cabinet on the ceiling are our personal flotation devices. If need be, just grab that handle, slide it open, they come down onto the boat. Hold it up in front of you, you're going to put your head through that hole, take the strap behind your back around to the front, hook to this ring and snug it up nice and tight. We do have child-sized vests up there, so any group that has smaller children, please make sure that they get their vest put on properly and securely before you do your own. If there is an emergency, please remain calm and wait for my instructions. And if by chance we need to get off the boat into the water, we'll jump in feet first. You never want to dive in head first because we never know what kind of debris could be underneath the surface of the water. This afternoon, I'm taking you across the McCloud arm of Lake Shasta, right over to that cove where you can see a sidewalk going up into the trees. There you'll get onto a bus and it's going to take you up that mountain. If you look off to the right side, you can see the big gray area sweeping down towards the lake. 2/3 the way up it is a dirt cutout going across. That's our road. And then a little further to the right in the trees is our visitor center at the cavern entrance. On our way over there, feel free to stand up, get some beautiful pictures. If you have any questions, come on up and ask. I'll be glad to answer them the best I can. And I want to thank all of you for joining us here today. Enjoy your ride across the lake.
Plus 2 to 3.
Go ahead.
Of this 6-wheel bus on the road at all times, making sure we're nice and safe on our way up. Hey, try the 2. Right now we're going past a bunch of manzanita. It is a natural remedy for poison oak, poison ivy, and poison sumac. If you take the leaves of the manzanita tree, you can chew them up into a cell or boil them down into a tea and use those products to wash away oils from those nasty plants. I'm telling you this because there's a lot of poison oak on this side of the lake. Everyone here know what poison oak is?
Yeah.
Good. Means I'll have to grab out the samples. All we ask is that you guys stay inside designated areas and on designated paths for your safety, as our goal is to send you home with happy memories, not rashy memories. We are on the only road for 20 square miles. We are the only vehicles that drive this road. There is no other road that connects to this one. The only way to get here is by boat. You may have noticed a large gray boat on the other side of the lake in the cove you guys started from. Her name is Elsie. She is an LCM-6 landing craft used in World War II during the Normandy invasion on D-Day. She is now the oldest and hardest working member of our crew, bringing everything man-made to the side of the lake for us, including the bus we are currently riding on. I'm eternally grateful because there's no way I'm making this hike. I don't get paid enough for it either. Now, because of the isolation we have on the side, though, it creates some great opportunities for us to see the wildlife. There is a vast variety of them. There are ground squirrels, gray squirrels, chipmunks, raccoons, ringtails, possums, skunks, foxes, black-tailed deer, mule deer, bobcats, mountain lions, black bears, chupacabras, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Pokemon, unicorns, lost children, and the occasional found child that now is one of our tour guides. So if we see anything larger than a squirrel, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'll happily have Jason stop the bus, choose one of you guys at random, and send you out to go pet it. In the meantime, the rest of us will stay on the bus where it's nice and safe. If they do not make it back, we're going to delete any photos or videos we took and say, we don't know what happened. They just disappeared. Right now we are traveling through what we call Bear Alley. We call it that because the majority of our black bear sightings happen through this stretch of road. Now California only has black bears within its borders, as the last grizzly bear sadly died in 1992, and the last polar bear was seen sometime around 1998, so none of them should pop up on our way up. Just in case though, some quick bear survival tips. If they're black, fight back, make yourself big and scary, they'll leave you alone. If they're brown, lie down, make yourself nice and small, and they should leave you alone. If they're white, just say goodnight because they won't leave you alone. Hope you're faster than your friends. I make sure my friends run slower than me for a reason. Pretty soon we're going to be rounding a corner here, called our hairpin, and that's going to switch all of our views from the left to the right hand side of the bus. And as we climb higher, our views are only going to get better. You gotta pull up where it's really good. Oh, it's doing it right again like there. Alright, we're currently waiting for another bus that's up ahead of us to get down past us because one-way roads suck. That, and I really don't want to go nose to nose with another bus right now. It's not weird.
It is all white and says not on the side.
Now, as we climb higher, our views are going to get better. You guys came across the McLeod arm of Shasta Lake. There are 4 arms in total. The McLeod, Pitt River, Sulon Harris, and the Sacramento, all named after the corresponding tributaries or rivers. Because of the 4 arms, if for some crazy reason you decided to walk all the way around the lake, you walk the same distance as from here to Portland, Oregon. A little under 400 miles. When the lake is full, it has an average depth of around 400 feet. Deepest parts by Shasta Dam at about 517 feet deep. The lake holds 1.4 trillion gallons of water when full and has 30,000 acres of surface area all the way across the lake. On triple-digit days like today's supposed to be, we can lose close to 200 million gallons of water to evaporation alone. This is only about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch of water loss across the entirety of the lake. Most of the water loss we experience is due to the contracts that we have to send water as far south as Bakersfield, California for the purpose of agriculture. The second biggest use for the waters is for hydroelectric generation or power generation through Shasta Dam. The power generated in Shasta Dam is sent to 14 different western states along with some of northern Mexico and southern Canada. You can be hanging out in a nice AC room in Mexico while someone else is hanging out in a nice jacuzzi up in Canada and have the power come from here. Shasta Dam is also the second largest concrete dam in the U.S. Anyone have a guess as to what number 1 is? Hoover Dam is incorrect. It is actually the Grand Coulee Dam in Washington State, constructed at the same time as our Shasta Dam between the years of 1938 and 1945. Before the construction of Shasta Dam, this was all river valley and canyon, and there were 15 towns that called these valleys home. The largest one was the town of Kennett, located just in front of Shasta Dam with a population of around 5,000. town important to us, though, is the town of Baird, founded in 1872 by a gentleman of the name Livingston Stone, who in 1874 led employees from the first federally funded fish hatchery in the West, located there, up the side of the mountain to discover the natural entrance to our caverns, a 9-foot tall by 6-foot wide opening in the side of the mountain. Sadly, you guys won't be going through this. Instead, you'll be going through a man-made entrance made by the Thompson brothers, inventors of Thompson's Water Seal, who purchased the property in 1959 to develop for tours. Right here's our Vista Point, offering some of the best views on our way up. Out the right, we have Holiday Harbor, the second largest marina on Shasta Lake. The largest one is to the south of us, past that great bridge called Bridge Bay Marina, because we're great at naming things. Yay! Yes. There are 6 marinas in total on Shasta Lake. They have around 330 houseboats for rent between all 6, and another 300 that are privately owned, allowing us to claim that we are the houseboat capital of the world. That, in fact, that no one has told me I'm wrong with proof. That great bridge we saw going across the lake, or at least you guys saw, is the Veterans of Foreign Wars Memorial Bridge, or VFW, the tallest bridge in the world of its design, standing at 504 feet tall from top to bottom, including guardrail. Double deck, span sport, road and rail bridge with 4 lanes of I-5 on the top. 70 feet below that, 1 active track of Union Pacific Railroad. That's also used by Amtrak. Traveled up from the south today to be here, you had to cross that bridge. While doing so, probably crossed over a train without knowing it, because they're sneaky like that. There is a second bridge about 330 feet below the water at the moment, just in front of that. That would be the original Pitt River Bridge that spanned the area before it was flooded. You get asked quite often, especially when our lake is low, if it's ever used. Of course it is. That's how fish get to school. Just ahead of us, right here, is our bear spot. 824 feet of unobstructed view, down to the water. If you're on the left and want a better view, move to the right. You're more than welcome to do so. We get enough people over there, we get the bus to lean and a little better view all the way down. Speaking of way down there, if you're looking way down there, you should see a giant boulder. That boulder is bigger than the boat that's brought you guys across the lake today. I keep asking to put googly eyes on it. They keep telling me no. Now, it has also been given the name of Rocky Bow Boulder. Sticking with the theme of terrible names. Coming up on the right-hand side now, we have our generator sheds. They house our 2 diesel generators that supply all power for our lights and lanterns inside the caverns, along with everything else. If the power does go out, do not fear. We do have a backup just in case, so enjoy it while it lasts. It will not last long. Meantime, listen to your tour guide. Follow their instructions. They've been trained in hand-to-hand combat to fight off boogeymen inside. Kidding, of course. There's no boogeymen, just bats. Probably. Maybe. We'll find out. Once we come to a stop up here and Jason opens up the doors, I'm going to ask that you guys make your way directly into this white heated area in front of the bus. As we do need all of the parking lot we can get to get turned around. Yes, get turned around. Very large bus, very small parking lot. No people pancakes today. It's gross and means I have to wash the bus. I don't like to.
It's a life-size teddy bear. There's a life-size twin.
This rock survey is conducive to caverns because it's easily dissolved by acidic water. A lot of limestone caves are made as the rainwater becomes acidic, starts to erode from the mountain from the top down. Eventually the cavities will get big enough for us to fit inside of. But our cave was made from the bottom up instead of the top down by the rain. And this would have been some weak sulfuric water that hollowed out the rooms. That weak sulfuric water was pushed up through the limestone because of volcanic activity that occurred beneath the mountain. That's how all the cavities we're about to go through were hollowed out. Today we'll use this nice man-made entry to get into the cave. Our natural entrance is about 300 feet above us from here. And I don't want to rock climb in this heat, so we'll use the man-made tunnel, and we'll see that natural entrance from inside the caverns. Before that, though, a quick couple of rules. No fun without rules, of course. They are pretty simple, though.
Hey, got dripped on.
Very nice.
But now it's better. And with our brand new lighting system, one of the main benefits is we can keep the rooms a little darker while people are in here, which is great because it'll stop the moths from growing around the lights as much. And the moths growing around the lights can damage the crystal, so it's great that we're diminishing the amount of lamp flora in the cave. But this first room is our discovery room. It's super beautiful in here. They named this area the discovery room because it was accidentally discovered in 1959. But then when they looked around in here, the Thompson brothers noticed almost every formation to discover in our cave system was right here around them. So that's also why we named it the discovery room. Since we're surrounded by most of the different types of formations, I'll explain a lot of them over here. And now that we're in the cave, this is all the filling in process going on around us. As the water runs over the mountain outside, it pulls calcium carbonate out of that limestone, and that calcite crystal travels with the rainwater until it gets to these rooms, where the rain is able to degas and deposit the crystal, growing everything around us. And as water falls from the ceiling, layers of crystal are left behind, giving us stalactite formations that are hanging tightly. And they also have a C in them for ceiling. Stalact, they hang tight. Good way to remember the difference between formations. Then when drops of water continue to hit the cave floor, falling off of these guys, they'll leave a little more crystal. And that's how we get the stalagmites. Stalag, G for ground, and they might reach the ceiling someday. Definitely helps me remember. When the two formations touch pips and grow together over the years, we call them a column, like that little guy there. A column. We call it a column. But above that column, we've got another formation coming into the cave as water runs down the cavern walls, creating these packs of crystal. And the crystal will thicken year after year, and gravity will start to pull those paths downward. That's how we get the fin that's just starting to grow there. Fast forward a little further though, that fin will be pulled completely straight and look a lot like our curtains. Oh yeah, and it's called dracolite or cave drapery. But sometimes this dracolite formation will get perfect strips of minerals in it to look a lot like strips of bacon. So this is nicknamed cave bacon as well. And I'll show you a great example a little further on the tour. Make sure we're all a little hungry by the end of this. We also have a formation that's created when pools of water lay in the cave, pointed out so everyone can see it, but I'll start over here. These are just mines left behind from the pool. They're on all sides of us right now, and they're also over here as well. This is known as a shelfstone formation. The pool had a lot of crystal in it, so as it laid there, it started to leave a rim of crystal around the room, kind of like if you leave milk or coffee in a cup too long, and it starts to leave a rim around the cup. Now, shellstone can signify danger because crystal can sometimes grow on top of the water like ice on a pond. That crystal isn't ice, so it stays after the water drains to act as a false floor. Sometimes there's hundreds of feet below those false floors with nothing to catch us. So anyone seeing shelfstone in a cave like this is cautious. Now, everything I talked about so far is only growing about 1 inch every 100 years. Yeah, so these formations will fill in these rooms, but that won't be happening in any of our lifetimes. That is when water is dripping and drizzling or pooling in the cave. That's all happening pretty slowly. During the rainy months, we do get waterfalls and rain in the cave, and that will give us flow stone. And flow stone isn't quite as exciting as everything else. It doesn't stand out as much. It's just this big, smooth, waxy area below that little column. But the flow stone is important because it can grow 4 inches every 100 years instead of just 1 inch, all because of the continuous flow of water that creates it. So much to say. Also a ton for everybody to take in. So do you guys have any questions about anything so far?
All right, Valerie, you go ahead of me.
Thanks.
Pretty sure everyone wants to see this view better than the one of me going up.
Thank you.
80 stairs. Here, honey.
That's the growing crystal. Although it's technically growing and there's no water running over this section now. As soon as the rain comes again, the crystal will grow though. Back to your cars now is about 812. So you're definitely earning whatever meal you want after this one. That's for certain. But now we've made it into our crystal room. It's probably my favorite room on the tour. The lights will turn on in here. There we go. A little more light. And this crystal room is named this because there is a beautiful crystal chandelier here above us. And it is magnificent. But this is also the newest section on our tour today. This area would have also been accidentally discovered, but they didn't find this room until 1977, as to where the first room was found in 1959. When they found this area in 77, there was a big pool of water that would have left most of us submerged. So we waited for the water to drain naturally, let the formations grow naturally, and they did the construction in here, and people finally got to see this room in 1984, and we started doing tours in 1964. So when we first opened, and we didn't know this was here yet, we all would have done 111 stairs up to the basement room. So I'm glad they made this addition, because 80 stairs is more than enough for me, and this is my favorite section. But that is why you guys may have noticed we did a little detour on the 80 stairs, and they kept going. That's just where we would have gone to the next room before this was a part of the tour. And the water that David Pryor saw here in 1977 was here for hundreds, maybe thousands of years before he got to see it. And at one point, it actually pressurized this area. It was completely filling this room to the brim. That pressure was building up and pushing crystals through the holes in the walls. And the crystals started shooting back out, kind of like someone was squeezing a tube of toothpaste behind it. You never know which way it will go next. And that's why we have all of these formations in here that defy gravity and grow any direction they want. They're all over that chandelier. They're called helictite formations, and there really are everywhere in here, all growing every which way instead of up or down, like the rest of the formations we've seen so far. And the helictites, because they're grown by water pressure, they're only seen in about 5% of limestone caves around the world. So they're also pretty rare. But of course, they are dormant. That pressure's gone and it's not coming back because of the tunnels where the water can go. When the crystal goes through this area, the helictites can still have crystal grow on them, but they won't be defying gravity any further. When that pressure first started to release though, and the dripping started in here, another formation started growing. That's because once the dripping started, we started having crystals splashed off of the pool of water in here, because there was that pool catching all of the drips. So smaller drips hitting the pool would start splashing crystals, and that gives us corallite. Larger drips or streams hitting the pool start popping bubbles underneath the water, that gives us coralloid. Corallite and coralloid are both the same cave coral, or cave popcorn. It looks a lot like coral, popcorn, calamari, broccoli, dipping dots, nerds. It's whatever you guys prefer. I like nerds. I'm a sweet person. But this popcorn-like formation is at almost every level of this area because the water that created it changed depths quite frequently as it drained, and that dripping is especially constant during the rainy months. So we've got popcorn all over the place. And it's the main reason I like to nickname this area the food room. Definitely makes me need a snack. But to go with the popcorn, we also have a really good example of that cave bacon up here. Oh yeah, you definitely see why it's called that now. And the Halittites are like crazy french fries next to it. But that is where we'll switch gears and have a little more fun in this section. I'm sure you guys look at clouds and pick out animals in them from time to time. I love doing that in the cave too. We call these fantasy formations. We got a couple good ones in here. My favorite being the saber-toothed tiger, which if you're down there, I apologize. You can't quite see it, but that's its head, its body, and its paw. Saber-toothed tiger, Diego, is hungry. He's trying to get the extra crispy cave bacon up here. And then we are close to Thanksgiving, so we have a turkey here with its head and its waddle and its body back here. I kind of see more of a turtle though, with its head and a turtle shell. Yeah, but whatever. And then we're also close to Christmas, so we've got Santa Claus as well. Oh yeah. And then last but not least, up by the stairs, if I can sneak through you guys, we also have a salt lamp. Just like the salt lamps we might have at home, but the calcite allows the light to go through it. Super cool. Depends though, sometimes they have more minerals and it doesn't work quite as well. Yeah, but that one's really nice. Oh yeah. And I think we're about ready to get going on. The next section we'll see is the inscription room where two of the first explorers, James Richardson and Charles Morton, wrote their names. Talk about it briefly here because you guys in the back. Stand by the rails, especially if you lose your balance easy. It does get dark a couple times during the light show. We don't want anyone losing their balance during that time. Those of us that are seated and ready to go, if you could also turn the flashes off on your cameras. The darkness can be ruined by our flashes, and I really appreciate you guys doing that for me. Oh. 1874, and then they came back a few years later. But the natural entrance is a little hole up there. You can't see it if you're seated, but we have an LED light coming out of there for some perspective. Not daylight though. It's 100 feet out to the surface from what we see in the cage today. So that also leaves some space for the bats to hang out. We have little brown bats in our cave. There's probably about 200 little brown bats in that 100 feet of tunnel. Sometimes they'll fly around during the show, but I didn't see any this time. It is up there, so you can't see it there, but if you come around or go back down either or, see there's some light coming from it.
I see daylight.
Yes. The hydraulic drills and the dynamite. Well, yeah, they came down through that one hole.
I see Quinn.
Where's my phone? Oops. Just give me, I wonder why I got an extra phone.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
We're almost out.
The cave is right here.
And him out.
All the time. Yesterday we were super active in that last room. No, it's up with them today. I love bats.
That would be so
I know, I
sick.
had people ask me if it was us who put like shadows during the lake show or if it was actually bats. I'm like, it was actually bats, you guys. We did not make it look like.
You alright?
Yep.
Handrail's hot.
There's like a weird bump right there, and I didn't want you to. So I would have laughed. I'm sorry.
Livingston Stone led the first expedition in 1874, and he knew there was caves on the mountain because of the caves that had already been discovered and used by the natives. So he just wanted to start leading expeditions in the 70s to find things for himself. The natives most likely knew about the natural entrance, and they were probably in the cave as well, although they didn't leave any evidence of being there, so don't have any proof of it. My assumption is they just saw it as more of a sacred place. Right. Didn't break or take anything like the next comers.
Yeah, sounds about right.
You good? What's up, honey?
We're just fine. We didn't need anything extra.
That is a workout. Yeah, you get your steps. Every day is like day.
Most I could do in day 7, which in my 4 years here I've only done 2 or 3 times, I think.
Is that like if all of the tours are booked and you're
That's
like
if
the
you're
only guy?
short-handed and
Yeah.
all of the tours are booked.
Yeah.
I prefer clear pool.
Yeah. That sounds a little better.